I think there's got to be some sort of long-term concern about the impact of the current policy of focusing on expenditure cuts on long-run economic growth. I mean, the impact of cutting expenditure in higher education will be felt in 10, 15, 20 years' time in terms of the impact on long-term economic growth. There's also got to be a concern that a lot of the shift of expenditure is going away from government expenditure towards individual students having to pay for their fees. Again, we don't know exactly what the effects of that are likely to be, but it will discourage some students from going to university. And that affects their future prosperity, their future prospects, but also the impact for long-term economic growth. We've got to remember that investing in students doesn't just benefit the individual student, it benefits the overall economy as well. I think there's a view that education is a cost rather than an investment. And actually it's an investment that will generate long-term economic growth. There's also a problem: we often don't fully understand the way universities can have an impact both on the economy and on society. If I could give you an example, for instance, there's a lot of focus on science and technology, that research in universities should be focused on science and technology, and that should generate commercialization prospects. So we can develop new technologies and then have patents, licenses and spin-outs. Yes, that's part of the story, but it's not the only way through which university research engages with wider aspects of society. For instance, there's a lot of informal mechanisms through which academics engage with the rest of society, through networks, informal advice, joint research and so on. And secondly, it's not just scientists. Scientists are very important, science and engineering, but also people in the arts and humanities and social sciences are engaged with a wide range of interactions broadly with society. And a third point to mention is it's not just about improving business performance. We see a lot of engagement, a lot of connectivity, a lot of what's called knowledge exchange between academics and the public sector and the third sector. The third sector are charities and social enterprises and so on. We often don't pick up the bigger picture because we're only focusing on part of the picture. We're focusing on the commercialization of science. Yes, that's important, but we've got to look at all the other mechanisms and all the other partners which universities are engaged with.